If saving a stranger's child meant risking your brother's life, what would you choose? What if you had 90 seconds? Byron Thatcher, a poor black teenager working 2 jobs to support his sick brother, faced that choice on a Thursday afternoon at O'Hare Airport. Terminal 3, 2:30 p.m. An 18-month-old boy's screams suddenly turned into desperate gasps. Face swelling, lips blue, the piercing cries made everyone panic. His mother collapsed, screaming for help. Security guards shouted into radios, travelers pulled out phones, hundreds watched in horror, but no one knew what to do. The terminal erupted in chaos until Byron's footsteps cut through the noise. Byron's chest tightened. He'd seen this with his brother. Allergic shock. Without medicine, 90 seconds until death. Does he have an EpiPen? The woman looked up, destroyed. Checked bag. I forgot. In Byron's worn backpack, 1 EpiPen. His brother's only lifeline. The one thing keeping his little brother alive. But this child had no time. As his fingers reached for the zipper, a businessman nearby grabbed his arm. "Kid, don't get involved. You don't know who she is." Byron didn't know this woman controlled a billion-dollar empire, or that what he did next, giving away his brother's only medicine, would be called unthinkable by everyone watching. But that morning, Byron had no idea the single EpiPen in his backpack would force him to choose between 2 lives before sunset. 4:45 a.m., South Side, Chicago. The alarm buzzed. Byron silenced it before it could wake his mother or brother. He sat up on the pull-out couch. The studio apartment was quiet except for Silas's nebulizer machine humming. That sound had become the soundtrack of their lives. His mother, Lorraine, was still asleep. At 42, she looked older. 20 years cleaning hospital floors did that. 9-year-old Silas slept in the corner. His inhaler sat next to 3 prescription bottles, 2 for asthma, 1 for allergies. The allergies were the scary part. Byron walked to the kitchenette. Half a box of oatmeal, instant coffee, a few cans of soup. Groceries were tight this week. 5:15 a.m. Byron made 2 bowls of oatmeal. As water boiled, he opened his backpack. Old, fraying, covered in patches. Inside, textbooks, a notebook, and a small red case. The EpiPen. He checked the expiration date. 3 months left. Refills cost $85 without insurance. They didn't have insurance. He'd been skipping lunches to save enough. "This is more important than anything," Byron whispered. That EpiPen had saved Silas's life last year when a classmate shared peanut butter crackers. Byron had been there, watched his brother's face swell, stop breathing. He'd known exactly what to do because he'd spent months studying anaphylaxis online. He'd learned CPR from a library book, studied first aid on his phone during bus rides, because doctors were expensive and emergencies didn't wait. 6 a.m. Byron shook Silas awake. "Hey, little man, time for meds." Silas groaned but sat up. Byron handed him pills and water, watching him swallow, then gave him oatmeal. "You got the thing?" Silas asked, pointing at the backpack. "Always. Not going anywhere without it." Silas smiled. "You're going to be a doctor one day, B." Byron's chest tightened. "Maybe, we'll see." He wanted it more than anything, but wanting and affording were different things. 8:30 a.m., Lincoln Park High School. Byron barely stayed awake first period. He'd worked until 11, then studied until 1. But third period, AP Biology, he was wide awake. Mr. Harrison explained the immune system. Immunoglobulin E mast cells, histamine, the cascade leading to anaphylactic shock. Byron's pen flew. This wasn't just schoolwork. This was survival knowledge. "Thatcher," Mr. Harrison called. "Why is epinephrine the only effective treatment for anaphylaxis?" "It reverses symptoms by constricting blood vessels, relaxing airways, and reducing swelling." The class went quiet. "Detailed. Pre-med interest?" "Yes, sir." "You've got the aptitude." Byron nodded. But aptitude didn't pay tuition. Medical school cost over $300,000. His bank account had $238. Byron slammed his notebook shut, whispering, "One day, Silas. One day we'll afford dreams, not just survival." 17 scholarship applications, all rejected. Insufficient documentation, not enough extracurriculars. Better candidates. How could he have extracurriculars when he worked 35 hours weekly to help pay rent? 12:15 p.m. cafeteria. Terrell Sutton slid across from him. "Yo, you eating today?" Byron shook his head. "Not hungry." "Liar." Terrell pushed half his sandwich over. "Take it." "Terrell, take the damn sandwich." Byron's throat tightened. He took it. Thanks. You saving for something? Medicine for Silas. Terrell nodded. You're a good brother. Byron didn't feel good. He felt tired, stretched, thin, like one more thing would break him. 3:30 p.m. O'Hare International Airport. Byron clocked in. Black pants, blue polo, scuffed sneakers. His supervisor, Warren Caldwell, nodded. Busy day, 3 international flights. Yes, sir. Warren treated him with respect. Never talked down. You okay, kid? Look tired. Just a long week. Warren studied him. You're too smart for this place. Should be in college. Byron forced a smile. Working on it. Just need 300 grand first. Warren laughed sadly. Don't we all? The next hours blurred. Directing cars, hauling luggage, watching businessmen in suits and families with expensive strollers walk past. They lived in a different world. But as he clocked in at O'Hare, a luxury jet taxied past, its owner oblivious to the kid below, sketching escape plans on a napkin. 6:15 p.m. Byron's phone buzzed. Text from Mom. Silas's inhaler running low. Can you grab refill on way home? Byron pulled out his wallet. $18. Refill cost $35. That meant skipping lunches another week. His stomach growled. He hadn't eaten since oatmeal that morning. He'd planned to grab a $5 sandwich. Not anymore. Byron headed to the break room. He'd drink water, ignore the hunger. But then he heard it. Screaming, desperate, terrified. From the food court. Byron's feet moved before his brain caught up. He ran toward the noise, heart pounding. Inside his backpack was one EpiPen. His brother's lifeline. He had no idea he was about to make a choice that would change everything. Sometimes the most important decisions happen in seconds. No time to think. Only time to act. Byron ran faster. The screaming got louder. Somewhere in that chaos, a life hung in the balance. A choice waited. A future waited to be born. Byron didn't know any of that. He just knew someone needed help, and he was the only one running toward it. In the next 60 seconds, Byron would make a choice that would haunt him, save him, and ultimately define him. Terminal 3, Food Court, 6:18 p.m. Byron pushed through the crowd, a young mother on her knees, designer clothes, mascara running, holding an 18-month-old boy, limp body. Please, someone help, he can't breathe! Byron knelt beside them. Ma'am, I'm trained in first aid. What happened? The woman looked up, terrified. Food court, he grabbed something. Allergies, severe. Does he have an EpiPen? Her face crumpled. Checked bag. I forgot. She sobbed. Byron looked at the boy. Sebastian. The mother kept saying his name. The symptoms. Face swelling. Lips blue. Hives spreading. Airways closing. Eyes rolling back. Cyanosis. Oxygen deprivation. Brain damage at 4 minutes. Death at 6. Someone call 911, a man shouted back. They said 10 minutes. 10 minutes. The boy had 90 seconds. The mother grabbed Byron's arm. Please, he's all I have. The crowd stood frozen, watching, recording. No one helped. Byron's choice, wait for paramedics, 10 minutes. Boy dies in 2, or uses EpiPen. Save this child. Risk Silas. His hand went to his backpack. Inside 1 EpiPen, 0.3 milligrams of epinephrine. His brother's only protection. You can't. That's Silas's medicine. What if he needs it? You can't afford another for 3 months. But another voice. This child is dying now. Silas isn't. They won't get here in time. Byron's eyes locked on the boys, a mirror of Silas's terror, but then he spotted something odd in the mother's briefcase beside her, a glint of gold, engraved with a name that didn't match. The briefcase, V. Ashford. The woman said Vivian Harrington. Byron filed it away. The boy's breathing stopped, body slack, no chest movement, cardiac arrest imminent. The crowd gasped. Byron made his choice. He pulled off his backpack, unzipped it, pulled out the red case, the EpiPen, yellow and black. What are you doing? Byron looked at the mother. I have an EpiPen, same medication. May I use it? Yes, please. Byron positioned the boy's leg, outer thigh, muscle injection, voice calm. I'm going to inject epinephrine. It will hurt but save his life. Place the tip against the thigh. Through the pants. His thumb hovered. Silas, I'm sorry, but I can't let this child die. Byron pressed down. Click. The needle deployed. Medication rushed in. Byron counted. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Pulled out, massaged the site, elevated legs, waited. 5 seconds, 10, 15, 20 seconds. The boy gasped. Air rushing into lungs, eyes flew open, started crying. Loud, painful, perfect. The mother collapsed forward, sobbing. "Oh my God, thank you." Byron sat back, hands shaking, adrenaline dump. The boy was alive, but his backpack felt empty. The thing that kept Silas safe. Gone. For a stranger. Security guard pushed through. "Paramedics, 2 minutes. Who administered?" Byron raised his hand. "I did." "You got training?" "Self-taught. My brother has allergies." "You just saved that boy's life." The mother looked up at Byron. "What's your name?" "Byron. Byron Thatcher. Byron. Like a prayer." "I will never forget you. You saved my son." Byron nodded. "He needs hospital observation. Epinephrine lasts 15 minutes. Monitor for rebound reactions." The woman blinked. "You know that?" "I've read a lot." Sirens wailed closer. Byron stood, legs weak, the crowd staring, some clapping, some crying. He looked at the empty EpiPen. $85, 3 months of skipped lunches. His brother's safety, gone. But the boy was breathing, alive. Paramedics burst through. 2 EMTs with equipment. "Who administered epinephrine?" "I did," Byron said. "When?" 2 minutes ago. 0.3 milligrams intramuscular, outer thigh. The EMT nodded, impressed. "Good work. Textbook. You saved his life." They loaded the boy onto a stretcher. The mother climbed into the ambulance, holding her son's hand. Before the doors closed, she turned back. Eyes found Byron's. She mouthed, "Thank you." Doors slammed. Sirens wailed. Ambulance pulled away. The crowd dispersed. Crisis over. Byron stood alone. His backpack hung loose. Inside, textbooks, notebook, empty red case. No EpiPen, no safety net, no way to afford another. He pulled out his phone. Thought about texting his mom. "I gave away Silas's EpiPen to save a stranger. Hope nothing happens for 3 months." Byron put the phone away. He'd made his choice. Right or wrong, done. All he could do was pray Silas never needed it. Byron walked toward the locker room. Shift over. Time to go home. But as he passed the spot where the boy nearly died, Byron paused. A small pool of spilled juice. A dropped stuffed animal. Evidence of crisis. Byron understood something. He'd chosen to save a life instead of protecting his peace of mind. Maybe reckless, maybe heroic, maybe just human. Byron picked up the stuffed animal, set it on a table in case they came back, then walked away. He had no idea that in 48 hours, his life would change forever. That the woman wasn't just a grateful mother. That the name on the briefcase, V. Ashford, belonged to one of the most powerful people in Chicago. That his empty EpiPen would become the beginning of something bigger than he could imagine. For now, Byron just felt tired and scared and strangely proud. He'd done the right thing, even if it cost him everything. The boy was alive. But Byron's relief lasted exactly 30 seconds until he looked inside his backpack and realized what he'd just done. Terminal 3, Food Court, 6:19 p.m. Byron knelt beside Sebastian. Watching, waiting, praying. The EpiPen was in. Medication delivered. Now came the most terrifying part, the wait. 30 seconds. Wheeze eases. 60 seconds. Lips pinken. 90 seconds. He cries, alive. Sebastian's chest rose. A shallow breath. Another. Then a gasp. His lips changed from blue-gray to pink. The hives began to fade. His eyes fluttered open. Then he screamed. Loud, painful, terrified. The most beautiful sound Byron had ever heard, because screaming meant breathing. Breathing meant life. Vivian collapsed forward, sobbing. "Oh, God! Sebastian, baby, you're okay!" The crowd erupted, clapping, cheering, phone cameras recording. Byron sat back, his whole body shaking, hands trembling, legs weak, heart pounding. The boy was alive. Byron collapsed against the pillar, tasting salt, his own tears mixing with the terminal's stale coffee air. But for the first time, pride drowned the fear. He'd done it, saved a life. A security guard pushed through. "Paramedics are en route, 2 minutes. Who administered?" Byron raised his hand. "I did." The guard looked at the empty EpiPen, at Sebastian breathing, then at Byron. "You got medical training?" "No, sir, self-taught. My brother has severe allergies. I've read a lot. Practiced on oranges." "Practiced on oranges?" "Library book said that's how you learn. Same resistance as skin." The guard stared, then smiled. Clapped Byron's shoulder. "Kid, you just saved that boy's life. Textbook injection. Perfect timing." Byron nodded but couldn't speak. Vivian looked up, her face a mess. Mascara everywhere, eyes swollen, but smiling through tears. You. What's your name? Byron. Byron Thatcher. Byron. She repeated it like memorizing it. How old are you? 18. You're 18 and you just saved my son's life. Byron didn't know what to say. Vivian grabbed his hand, squeezed hard. I don't know how to thank you. I don't know if I can ever thank you enough. But I swear, Byron Thatcher, I will spend the rest of my life trying. Byron's face heated. I just did what anyone would do. No, Vivian's voice sharp now. No one else did anything. All these people stood here and watched. You're the only one who helped. She was right. Byron looked around. Dozens of people, all adults, all capable. But they just stood there, frozen, watching a child die, and a parking lot attendant had been the one to act. Sirens wailed closer. Does he have other allergies? Byron asked. For the paramedics? Vivian focused. Tree nuts, shellfish, bee stings. Byron nodded. They'll probably give oxygen, start an IV, monitor vitals for 4 hours, risk of biphasic reaction, secondary symptoms up to 12 hours later. Vivian stared. How do you know that? I read a lot. When Silas, my brother, got diagnosed, I learned everything, because we can't afford to not know. The weight of that sentence hung in the air. 2 EMTs burst through, a man and woman, both carrying equipment. Pediatric anaphylaxis? Here! Byron waved. They knelt beside Sebastian, checked lungs, pulse, pupils. Who administered epinephrine? I did, Byron said. When? About 3 minutes ago, 0.3 milligrams, intramuscular, right outer thigh. Both EMTs looked surprised. Medical training? No, self-taught. My brother has the same condition. The female EMT smiled. You did it perfectly. Probably saved his life. If you'd waited for us, very different outcome. She turned to Vivian. We're transporting him to Northwestern Memorial. You can ride with us. As they prepared the stretcher, the male EMT turned to Byron. What's your name? Byron Thatcher. Byron, I'm Russell Pemberton, 15 years as a paramedic. What you did today? Some of the best first response I've seen. You ever think about emergency medicine? Byron's chest tightened. I want to, medical school, but it's expensive. Russell nodded, understanding. Look into EMT basic certification, cheaper than med school. A foot in the door, we always need good people. He handed Byron a card. Chicago Fire Department, we run training programs, think about it. Byron took it, slipped it in his pocket. Thank you. They loaded Sebastian onto the stretcher. Vivian climbed beside him. Before they wheeled away, Vivian looked back, pulled a business card from her purse. Byron, please, take this. Call me tomorrow, any time. I need to thank you properly. Byron took the card, glanced briefly. Vivian Harrington, personal contact. Just a name and number. He slipped it in his pocket. You don't need to. I do. Please call. As paramedics wheeled Sebastian away, Vivian slipped him the card, but Byron didn't see the logo on the back. Ashford Biomedical, the very company pricing EpiPens out of reach for families like his. The crowd dispersed. Crisis over. Byron stood alone. His backpack felt wrong, empty. He unzipped it slowly, looked inside. Textbooks, notebook, the red case, empty, no EpiPen. Reality hit like a punch. He'd just used Silas's only protection, the thing keeping his brother alive, gone, used on a stranger. Byron's hands shook. Not adrenaline this time. Fear. What did I just do? Kid. Byron turned. Warren Caldwell stood there, serious but not angry. That was something. Byron's voice cracked. I used my brother's EpiPen. Warren nodded. I know. I don't have another. Can't afford it for 3 months. What if Silas? What if... His voice broke. Warren put a hand on Byron's shoulder. Firm, grounding. Byron, look at me. Byron looked up. You saved that boy's life, you understand? That kid was dead. You brought him back. You made a choice that mattered. That takes guts. That takes heart. But Silas is home, safe. That boy wasn't. You did the right thing. Byron shook his head. I don't know if I did. Warren squeezed his shoulder. I've been alive 55 years. Never seen anyone do what you just did. 18 years old, minimum wage job, and you gave away the one thing keeping your family safe. That's not reckless. That's heroic. It doesn't feel heroic. It feels terrifying. Yeah, that's how you know it mattered. Byron nodded, tried to breathe. Go home, Warren said. Take the rest of the night. Process this. And Byron? Yeah? Be proud. You should be proud. Byron walked to the locker room, changed. The business card sat in his pocket. He pulled it out, looked again. Just a name and number. He almost threw it away. What would a woman like that want with a parking lot attendant? but something made him keep it, slip it behind his student ID. Byron walked out. Evening air hit him. Cool, fresh, real. He pulled out his phone. 3 missed texts from his mom. "How's work, baby?" "Silas asking for you. Says he misses his big brother. Love you. See you tonight." Byron stared. His eyes burned. He typed, "Love you too. Be home soon." What he didn't type: "I gave away Silas's EpiPen today. I hope he never needs it. I hope I didn't make a terrible mistake." Byron shoved the phone away, started walking to the bus stop. The weight of what he'd done settled on his shoulders. Heavy, suffocating. He'd saved a life, but potentially put another at risk. Was that heroic or reckless? Byron didn't know. The bus pulled up. Byron climbed on, found a seat in back, leaned against the window. The city blurred past. Lights, buildings, people unaware that a kid from Southside had just made the hardest decision of his life. Byron closed his eyes, tried not to think about empty red cases, about what-ifs, about the terrified look on Silas's face the last time he couldn't breathe. But he couldn't stop. "I saved a life today. I saved a life today. I saved a life today." Byron repeated it like a mantra, like a prayer, like the only thing keeping him from falling apart. Because if he didn't believe it was the right choice, then what was it? The bus rumbled on. And Byron Thatcher, 18 years old, parking lot attendant, hero, sat alone in the back, wondering if he'd just made the biggest mistake of his life, or the most important decision he'd ever make. Byron said no to $10,000. That refusal would change his life more than taking the money ever could. Friday morning, 3 days later. Byron's phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Byron? Vivian Harrington, Sebastian's mother." Byron's stomach dropped. "How's Sebastian?" "Perfect. Thanks to you. Doctors said another 60 seconds and we'd be having a different conversation. I'd like to meet. Are you free this afternoon?" "Class until 2. Work until 10. Break at 6. 30 minutes. Same terminal. Food court, 6 p.m. She hung up. 6 p.m. Terminal 3 food court. Vivian was already there. 2 coffees. Business casual. "Thank you for meeting me." They sat. She pushed coffee toward him. "Black okay?" "Perfect." Vivian pulled out an envelope. "I want to give you something." Byron's chest tightened. "You don't need to. Please open it." Inside was a check. $10,000. Byron's hands went numb. That was a year's rent. Silas's medications for 2 years. Textbooks, tuition, breathing room. "This is too much. It's not enough. You saved my son's life. I didn't do it for money." "I know. That's why I want to give it to you." Byron stared at the check. He could pay off his mom's debt, get Silas new inhalers, stop skipping meals, but something felt wrong. "I can't take this," Byron said, sliding it back. Vivian blinked. "I'm sorry. I can't. I didn't save Sebastian to get paid. I did it because it was right." Something shifted in her expression. Respect, surprise. "Most people would take the money." "I'm not most people." "No, you're not." She put the check away. But she looked intrigued. "Why didn't you hesitate? Everyone froze. You ran toward the crisis. Why?" "Because I've seen what happens when no one helps. When Silas had his first reaction at a school event, he collapsed. Everyone just stood there. It was the janitor who called 911. Not teachers, not parents. The janitor." Byron's voice quieter. "I decided that day I'd never be the person who stands there. If I can help, I will." Vivian's eyes shining. "You reminded me of something." She paused, voice dropping. "I lost a patient once, same age as Sebastian, because his mom couldn't afford the shot. I was just a resident. Couldn't do anything, just watched him die. You're fixing what I couldn't." Byron's throat tightened. "I'm sorry. Don't be. You're the reason I do what I do now. People who help even when it costs them everything." Vivian pulled out a different business card. This one had a logo, Ashford Biomedical Group, Inc. Vivian Ashford, CEO. Byron stared. "You're a CEO?" "I am. Byron, I'd like to stay in touch, not to give you money, but because I think you're going to do extraordinary things, and when you do, I want to help." Byron took the card. "Thank you." "No, thank you. For reminding me why I started this company. For showing me what real courage looks like." They finished their coffee. Talked about Silas, Sebastian, life. When they said goodbye, Vivian hugged him tight. "Take care of yourself. Call me if you need anything, I mean that." Byron walked back. The card felt heavy. Vivian Ashford, CEO, pharmaceutical company. He'd saved a billionaire's son and refused $10,000. His mom would think he was crazy. Terrell definitely would. But Byron felt proud. He'd made a choice based on principles, not desperation. That felt more valuable than any check. Vivian walked away, pulled out her phone. Yes, this is Vivian Ashford. I need a file. Byron Thatcher. Student at Lincoln Park High. I want his transcripts, counselor's contacts, scholarship applications. Pause. Because I'm about to change his life, and I need to know everything. As she hung up, Byron pocketed the card, unaware her next call was to his school counselor, digging for more than just gratitude. The gift Vivian sent wasn't just a thank you note. It was the first move in a plan she'd been forming since the moment Byron walked away from $10,000. Wednesday afternoon, Southside apartment. Byron found a large FedEx box against the door. Sender, Ashford Biomedical Group, Inc. He opened it carefully. 1, 2 EpiPens, brand new, expiration 18 months out, $170 worth, more than a week's wages. 2, a handwritten note. Dear Byron, these are for Silas. Yes, I found out about your brother. Please keep him safe. With deepest thanks, Vivian H. 3, a brochure. Ashford Biomedical, making medicine accessible. Byron flipped through. Photos of Vivian at research labs. One photo stopped him. Vivian shaking hands with the president. CEO receives Presidential Medal for Healthcare Innovation. 4, a book. The spirit catches you and you fall down. A bookmark at a highlighted passage. What is the cost of healing when you cannot afford medicine? Byron sat surrounded by everything. He read the brochure. Ashford Biomedical, founded 2015, CEO Vivian Ashford, Maryland, Johns Hopkins. Revenue, $3.2 billion annually. $3.2 billion. Byron's hands shook. He'd saved a mogul's kid, but now? A handwritten note in the book read, "Read this. It changed my life. Yours next? V." He'd saved a billionaire's son. His phone buzzed. Byron, it's Vivian. Miss Ashford, the package arrived. Thank you. Byron, are you free Saturday? I work Saturdays. Could you take the day off? I'd like you to come to my home for lunch. Sebastian keeps asking about you. And I'd like to talk about something important. Byron's heart pounded. What kind of something? The kind that might change your life, if you're open to it. Byron looked at the EpiPens, the book, the note. Yours next? Okay, I'll come. Wonderful. My assistant will send the address. And Byron? Wear whatever you're comfortable in. This isn't a job interview, it's a conversation between two people who care about saving lives. She hung up. Byron sat surrounded by evidence that his life had shifted. He texted Warren, "Can I take Saturday off? Something important." Warren, "Of course. Everything okay?" Byron, "I think so. Explain Monday." He looked at the address. 1800 North Burling Street, Lincoln Park, Googled it. Victorian mansion, gated, 3 stories. Byron's stomach twisted. Saturday, 2 days away. He opened the book, found the note. Read this. It changed my life. Yours next? V. The book was about a family whose daughter had epilepsy, about medicine being inaccessible, about systems failing people, about exactly what Byron had experienced. He understood why Vivian sent it. Saturday wasn't just lunch, it was an offer, and whatever it was, it would change everything. When that door opened, Byron stepped into a future he'd never dared imagine. Saturday noon, Lincoln Park. Byron took the bus, got off early, walked 3 blocks, cleanest jeans, work polo, scuffed sneakers, 1800 North Burling Street, 3 stories, red brick, ivy, fountain, ancient trees. He pressed the intercom. Byron? Yes, ma'am? The gate opened. Vivian stood at the door. Jeans, gray sweater, hair down, different from the airport, more real. Come in. Foyer bigger than his apartment, hardwood floors, chandelier, curved staircase. Nice man! Sebastian ran out, hugged Byron's legs. Byron knelt. Hey, buddy, feeling better? Sebastian nodded, showed his arm. Ow, but you're all better now. All better. Vivian led him through. Living room with floor-to-ceiling books, piano, photos, 1 photo, Vivian in a white coat. Medical school, she said. Johns Hopkins. You're a doctor? Was going to be. Then I realized I could help more people making medicine affordable. Dining room, table set, pasta. Constance took Sebastian to play. They sat, ate. She asked about school, his mom, Silas. Byron relaxed. You want to study medicine? Yes. Help kids who can't afford treatment. Her eyes lit up. That's why I started my company. In medical school, I saw patients who couldn't afford medicine, so I decided to make cheaper drugs. She slid a folder across. Byron opened it. His school records, grades, test scores. Public records, his GPA, his SAT, 1450. Byron, you have everything except opportunity. I don't understand. I want to give you that. She stood. Every year we fund 10 scholarships, full ride, undergrad through medical school. 400,000 over 8 years. Byron stopped breathing. I'm offering you one. His hands shook. Full ride to Northwestern, 8 years, everything covered. Tears filled his eyes. Plus summer internships. Learn how drugs get made. She sat. And after, help me build a program. Train emergency responders. Why me? Vivian leaned in. Because in that crowd, you were the only one who acted. But here's the secret. I was testing my own team's response time that day, and you beat them all. Byron's jaw dropped. You were testing? Not intentionally. But my security team, my assistant, my driver, all trained in first aid, were in that terminal. You reached Sebastian first, faster than people paid to respond to emergencies. She held his gaze. You refused $10,000. You gave away your only EpiPen, because you're the kind of doctor the world needs. Tears spilled. There's one condition. His breath caught. This isn't just for you. It's for your community. Come back. Bring others. She leaned forward. When you start college, find 20 students. Mentor them. Help them become EMTs. We'll pay everything. 20? By graduation, 100 trained responders from Southside. Can you do that? Byron thought about Silas, his mom, kids who couldn't afford hope. Yes, I can. Vivian smiled. Then let's change lives. She pulled out papers, scholarship agreement, internship contract, his name already there. Byron Thatcher, Ashford Biomedical Scholar, class of 2029. She showed the breakdown. $85K tuition? Covered. Housing? Covered. Med school? Covered. Health insurance for you? Your mom, Silas? Covered. Byron couldn't process it. He signed, hand shaking. Welcome to the family. She brought more documents, program plans, timeline, first response fellows, 20 students first year, 40 by year 3, 100 by graduation. When do I start? Northwestern in August. 3 months. Until then, shadow at Ashford. See how we make medicine affordable. She smiled. And recruit. Find your first 20. Byron nodded. I know some already. Good. We meet weekly. Plan the program. She handed him a phone. Company phone. My number's programmed. Call any time. Byron took it, hands shaking. Thank you. Vivian shook her head. Don't thank me yet. 8 years of school, mentoring students, building a program. You'll want to quit. Byron met her eyes. I won't quit. How do you know? Because I've been too poor to quit, too responsible, too scared of letting people down. He stood straighter. This isn't harder than working 35 hours taking AP classes. Isn't harder than watching my brother almost die. Voice stronger. This is hope. I've never had that. I'm not giving it up. Vivian smiled wide. That's what I needed to hear. She held out her hand. Partners? Byron shook it. Partners. Lorraine still crying. Happy tears. Sebastian ran back, crashed into Byron. Nice man stay? Byron picked him up. Yeah, buddy. Gonna be a doctor. Help lots of kids like you. Sebastian clapped. Vivian laughed. First life you saved won't be the last. The back door opened. Lorraine walked in, tears streaming. Mom? She pulled him into a hug. Baby, Vivian called yesterday, explained everything. She held his face. I said you don't take handouts. She said you earned it when you saved someone else's child. Voice breaking. I worked 20 years for this. Prayed you'd be a doctor. She pulled him close. Now you will be, for Silas, for everyone. Both crying. I'm scared, but you're ready. Vivian wiped her eyes. So Byron, deal? He looked at his mom. The papers. Vivian. Yes, let's change lives. Byron looked around. The mansion. The success. The opportunity. 3 months ago, parking lot attendant. Now building a program that would save thousands. All because he'd made one choice. To help a stranger's child. Sometimes one choice changes everything. Tomorrow, the real work begins. The signature was just the beginning. Now came the hard part, building something that would outlast them both. 1 week later, Ashford Biomedical Headquarters. Byron walked through the glass doors and felt like he'd entered another dimension. Chrome, steel, glass. People in expensive suits rushing past. He wore his cleanest jeans and work polo, the best he had. "Byron Thatcher?" the receptionist asked. "Yes, ma'am. 23rd floor." The elevator made his stomach drop. When the doors opened, floor-to-ceiling windows revealed Chicago stretched out below. Lake Michigan sparkled in the distance. Vivian was waiting in a sharp business suit, professional, but her smile was warm. "Byron, welcome to Ashford." Her office was enormous. Mahogany desk, conference table, windows overlooking the city. "Have a seat." Byron sat. Vivian spread out documents. 3 months before Northwestern. We have work to do." She pulled out a financial breakdown. Undergraduate, Northwestern University, pre-med track. Tuition $85,000 yearly, housing $15,000, meal plan $5,000, books $5,000, living stipend $20,000, total per year $130,000, 4 years $520,000, medical school Northwestern Feinberg, tuition $65,000 yearly, housing $20,000, living expenses $30,000, total per year $115,000, 4 years $460,000, grand total $980,000. Byron stared. Almost $1 million. "It's an investment," Vivian said. "In you, your community, and the program you'll build." She pulled out another document. First Response Fellows. Program Overview. Year 1. Recruit 20 students from Southside, ages 16 to 18. Minimum GPA 3.0. Summer training. 8 weeks, Monday through Friday, 8 hours daily. Full EMT basic curriculum. Cost per student, $5,800. 20 students, $116,000. Years 2 through 4, recruit 20 more each year. By year 4, 80 students total. Years 5 through 8, during medical school, recruit 5 yearly. Mentor existing students. By graduation, 100 students trained, 50 working as EMTs, 30 in college, 20 in high school. "That's incredible," Byron said, "but I need to recruit 20 students in 5 weeks. Can you do it?" Byron thought about kids in his neighborhood working dead-end jobs, kids wanting more but seeing no path. "Yes, I can do it." They spent 2 hours planning, training at Southside Community Center, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Instructors Russell Pemberton, the EMT from the airport, and Maria Santos, 20-year veteran Chicago Fire. Equipment provided by Ashford. Uniforms, textbooks, practice dummies, medical supplies. After training, students take Illinois EMT basic exam. Ashford pays all fees. Those who pass get guaranteed interviews with Chicago Fire Department. "How do I recruit them?" Byron asked. "Tell them your story," Vivian said. "You work 35 hours weekly, cared for your brother, maintained 3.8 GPA, saved a stranger's child. Now you're going to Northwestern on full scholarship." She held his gaze. "Tell them if you can do it, they can too. This isn't charity, it's opportunity, but only for those willing to work. And tell them the truth. That training will be hard, that being an EMT is serious, that they'll hold lives in their hands, that not everyone will make it." "Why tell them that?" "Because we want students who understand the responsibility and want it anyway." Vivian stood. "This program will change lives, but only if we do it right. Only if we maintain high standards." She faced him. "Can you do that? Even when it's hard?" Byron stood. "I've never had the luxury of giving up. I'm not starting now." Vivian extended her hand. "Partners. Partners." She handed him a company ID badge. Byron Thatcher, Program Director, First Response Fellows. "Program Director? Your program, your vision, your community. I'm providing resources." She handed him a company credit card. "Program expenses only, meals with potential students, transportation, supplies, no personal use." Byron took it carefully. "One more thing." An envelope. Inside, a check for $5,000 made out to Lorraine Thatcher. "What's this?" "Your mother's been working double shifts. She shouldn't have to anymore. So she can cut back hours, spend time with you and Silas, and rest." Byron's eyes filled with tears. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to. She raised an incredible son. She deserves support too." Vivian put a hand on his shoulder. "You saved my son," reminded me why I do this. This isn't me helping you, it's us building something meaningful together. She squeezed gently. Now go. 20 students to recruit. A program to launch. Byron left with a badge, credit card, folders, and a check for his mother. He also had something he'd never really had before: purpose. He pulled out his phone and started a group text to everyone from school. I have something amazing to tell you, something that could change your life. Meet me at the community center tomorrow, 6 p.m. Trust me on this. He hit send. 20 students, 5 weeks. The first step of a 1,000-mile journey. Byron walked to the bus stop. This time different. This time with a mission, resources, a future. He texted Terrell, his best friend. Remember when you said I was crazy for not taking that 10,000? Wait till you hear what happened instead. Terrell replied instantly. Bro, what? Tell me now. Tomorrow, 6 p.m., community center. Bring anyone who wants their life to change. On the bus ride home, Byron pulled out the recruitment materials, started making lists, students he knew who'd be perfect. Terrell, Crystal from math class, Devin from his building, kids who reminded him of himself, hard-working, responsible, wanting more. 25 names. He'd recruit 25, hope 20 stuck, push them to excellence. He walked into his apartment. His mom was cooking, Silas doing homework. How was it? Lorraine asked. Byron handed her the envelope. She opened it, saw the check, gasped. Byron, what? From Vivian. She said you deserve to rest. Lorraine sat down, started crying. You've given everything for us, Byron said. Let someone give back. She hugged him tight. That night, Byron couldn't sleep. Too excited, too nervous, too full of possibility. He looked at the badge on his nightstand. Byron Thatcher, Program Director. 3 months ago, he was a parking lot attendant. Now he was building a program that would save thousands of lives. All because he'd made one choice: to help a stranger's child. Sometimes one choice changes everything. Tomorrow, the real work begins. What happened over the next 6 years didn't just change Byron's life. It changed an entire generation. Year 1, fall 2025. Byron moved into Northwestern. His mom and Silas helped him unpack. The dorm room felt like a palace compared to their studio apartment. Roommate Grant Fisher from the suburbs was shocked when he heard Byron's story. First semester, pre-med track, biology, chemistry, psychology. Byron studied like his life depended on it, because it did. First semester GPA, 3.9, winter 2025. First Response Fellows launched. Byron came home over winter break, set up recruitment at the community center. 23 students showed up. Byron told his story, showed his Northwestern ID, explained the program. This isn't easy. This will be the hardest thing you've done. But if you make it through, you'll save lives, have a career, have a future. 21 signed up. Byron accepted all of them. Training started June 15th. Russell and Maria were tough. No shortcuts, no excuses. By week 3, 2 dropped out, too hard, too early. The remaining 19 pushed through. Spring 2026, certification day. 19 students took the Illinois EMT basic exam. 17 passed first try. 2 retook it and passed. 100% success rate. Local news covered it. Southside students become certified first responders. Nina Sullivan, 17, told the reporter, I never thought I could save a life. Now I know I can. Year 2, summer 2026, Byron interned at Ashford Pharmaceuticals, helped develop EpiPen training videos in English and Spanish. Vivian distributed them free to Chicago public schools. The Fellows program grew. Byron recruited 22 more. First cohort started paid internships with Chicago Fire. Fall 2026, the first save. Jamal Rodriguez, 18, first response fellow, was walking home from work. Heard screaming from a neighbor's apartment. Found Mr. Martinez, 63, clutching his chest. Heart attack. Jamal started CPR, called 911, kept going until paramedics arrived. Mr. Martinez survived. Chicago Tribune headline, Teen trained by Byron Thatcher saves man's life. Vivian's quote went viral. This is exactly what we envisioned, a network of heroes. Year 3, 2027, the program exploded. 3 locations, Southside 45 students, Westside 30, Pilsen 25. Total, 100 certified first responders across Chicago. Ashford increased funding to $100,000 annually. Partnership with Chicago Fire gave fellows preferred hiring. Impact statistics, 12 documented saves, cardiac arrests, choking, bleeding, allergic reactions. Average emergency response time dropped from 18 to 11 minutes. Fellows intervened while waiting for EMTs. ER doctors reported more patients arriving with preliminary care done. Bleeding controlled, airways cleared, CPR started, lives were being saved. Year 4, 2028. Byron graduated Northwestern, top 10%. Acceptance to Northwestern Feinberg School of Medicine arrived. At graduation, his mom and Silas cried. Vivian was there too. "I'm so proud of you." That summer, Byron recruited 20 more. Total participants, 140, Year 5, 2029, medical school. Feinberg was brutal, 14-hour days, endless studying, clinical rotations. But Byron kept fellows running, recruited 5 students yearly, mentored existing fellows, helped graduates find jobs, specialty interest, emergency medicine and health policy. Thesis? Community-based first response, a model for reducing preventable deaths in underserved areas. Year 6, 2030, national recognition, first response. Fellows became official nonprofit, Byron as founder, Vivian as board chair, funding from Ashford, city grants, private donors, expansion beyond Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore, Atlanta, Oakland, 5 cities, 30 community centers, 200 students yearly. CDC featured the program in Best Practices for Community Health. Byron spoke at American College of Emergency Physicians Conference. 3,000 doctors, standing ovation. His closing line, "6 years ago, I gave away my only EpiPen. Today, 500 people are trained to do what I did. Tomorrow, 5,000, Year 7, 2031, graduation." Byron walked across stage, white coat ceremony, MD degree, match result, Northwestern Emergency Medicine residency, staying local, continuing the program. Mom and Silas in audience, crying, proud. Vivian hugged him. "Your journey is just beginning." Program statistics by 2031. 580 fellows trained across 6 cities. 89 documented lives saved. 15 became paramedics. 8 entered pre-med programs inspired by Byron. Media coverage. Chicago Tribune. From parking lot to PhD, Byron Thatcher's remarkable journey. Forbes. How one act of heroism sparked a national movement. Good Morning America. Byron and Vivian appeared together. Sebastian came on stage, now 8, healthy. "This is the man who saved my life," Sebastian said. The audience cheered. Byron shook his head. "I didn't save just one life, we saved hundreds, and we're just getting started." And the story would end here, except for one Thursday afternoon at a different terminal, with a different child. Present day, 2032. Terminal 5, O'Hare. Dr. Byron Thatcher, 24, walked through the terminal, coming back from a medical conference, tired, ready to go home. Then he heard it, a child crying. Byron's head turned automatically. That sound still made his chest tighten. Crowd gathering near Gate 28. Byron started running. A boy, 6 years old, on the ground, face swelling, lips blue, mother screaming in Spanish, "Mi hijo, no tengo medicina." Anaphylaxis. 2 minutes left. Byron was about to push through when someone else moved first. A teenage girl, 16, backpack with a patch. "First response fellows." She knelt beside the mother, voice calm. "Ma'am, I'm a certified EMT. I have an EpiPen. May I help?" The mother nodded. "Sai, por favor." Byron stood back, watched. The girl pulled out an EpiPen, movements confident, positioned it, counted. 1, 2, 3, click. Boy screamed, then breathed. 3 seconds, pulled out, massage site, elevated legs, textbook perfect. Byron's eyes filled with tears. The girl saw his white coat, Northwestern badge. "Doctor, did I do it right?" Byron stepped forward, voice shaking. "Perfectly." "What's your name?" "Lucia Mendoza, First Response Fellows. We learned from Byron Thatcher." Byron smiled through tears. "I've heard of him. He'd be proud of you." Lucia smiled, turned to the mother, speaking Spanish, comforting. Paramedics arrived. Lucia handed off professionally. Time of injection, dosage, response. Byron watched. 7 years ago, that had been him. This airport, saving Sebastian, with his brother's only EpiPen. Now it was Lucia, a girl he'd trained, saving another child, the cycle continuing. Byron called Vivian. "You won't believe what just happened," he told her. Her voice broke. "That's why we do this." Byron looked at Lucia, still calm, still professional. "Yeah, that's exactly why." He thought about 7 years ago. the choice he'd made, the empty EpiPen, how one moment had led to this. 580 trained fellows, 89 lives saved and counting, all because he chose to help. Byron walked away, let Lucia handle it. She didn't need him. She was ready. He texted the fellows' group chat. Just watched Lucia Mendoza save a life at O'Hare. Textbook perfect. Proud of all of you. His phone exploded with responses. Byron smiled. Where they are now, Sebastian Harrington, 8 years old, healthy, happy. Silas Thatcher, 16, first response fellow, once nursing. Lorraine Thatcher, retired. Volunteers at training. Vivian Ashford, program in 20 cities. Presidential honor. Byron Thatcher, doctor. Emergency medicine resident. Still running the program, still training, still saving lives. One choice at a time. 7 years ago, Byron didn't know that 0.3 milligrams of epinephrine would change everything. Not just for Sebastian, for Lucia, for that boy, for hundreds of others. All because one person saw potential instead of charity. The circle was complete. But the story wasn't over. It was just beginning. Byron's story started with a choice. Keep the EpiPen for safety, or give it away to save a life. He chose compassion, and compassion chose him back. You don't need to be a doctor to save a life. You don't need to be wealthy to change a community. You just need to see someone in need and decide, I can help. Byron gave away one EpiPen. That single act saved Sebastian. But it didn't stop there. That one choice created a ripple. 580 people trained, 89 lives saved, thousands more to come. One choice, one moment, one act of courage. If Byron's story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear that their circumstances don't define their potential. Like this video if you believe in the power of one good act. Subscribe for more stories of everyday people creating extraordinary change. Because sometimes, the unthinkable thing isn't the crisis. It's the courage to act when everyone else freezes. What will you do when your moment comes?